AK47 here, your internet shooting companion, coming from the beautiful hills of Tennessee. Yes, the home of Alvin York, Dolly Parton, and many others who moved here and love it. Can I shoot a couple of shots with this AK? Guess what? Got a treat for you. You folks have been around a while. You remember the radio shows, the Shooting the Breeze, the little theme song that Steve Lee and we kind of co-wrote. Guess what? I have it out here in the woods with me, and we'll just start off with it like we used to do, the good old days, sort of back to the old days. Maybe.
When you're down in Tennessee where freedom is alive, you hear shots ring from the woods, take on 45. Life is shoots more ammo than he probably should. Something's here in Nashville neighborhood. Life is good. He's always shooting down in the woods. He wouldn't do it if he could. 'Cause life is good. He wouldn't leave you even if he could. 'Cause life is good.
Yes, life is good. Especially when you have an AK. When on the particular day you feel like you need an AK, that's a good day, right? Yeah, AK47 here. Thought I'd bring out the old Steve Lee song. Figured out how to do it technologically without too much trouble. And it's kind of funny. Some of you don't know, there's actually video up, and I don't know what's called, the AK47 song, whatever. Steve Lee came up from Australia. He's been here 2 or 3 different times. He's the I Like Guns guy. Look at our main page. I think he's still there, even though he's not made videos for a while. But I Like Guns is a classic. I think I posted it on Facebook recently, just for those who had not heard it, seen it, or forgotten about it. So anyway, good guy. And yeah, we spent an afternoon over here, he and his daughter, picking out the tunes and kind of putting the lyrics together just as a lark, fun thing. And that's it. And anyway, it's actually on one of his CDs, but I like this version better, to tell you the truth. So anyway, here I am out in the woods, as usual. Steve Lee said, shooting in the woods. And I brought my AK out, my Sam 7, you know, man. I still like this one. I really do. I just like it. I'm sorry, but I do. Yeah, I've been shooting a muzzleloader some this week. Oh my God, a couple of muzzleloaders, believe it or not. Thoroughly enjoying that, even the mess. And I thought, you know what? It's time for something more modern. Is an AK more modern? Not by much, is it? 1947, 46, 47, 48. But they are sweet. They really are. Again, my lecture to you old fuddy-duddies, I guess we'd say, who don't want to shoot anything that is a black rifle, a black pistol. And we're not talking racism here. We're talking people who just want a good old blued steel revolver, or even a semi-automatic. There's some old school semi-automatics like the Browning High Power. Beautiful firearm, great finish, you know, wood, 13+1 rounds, you know, so. And there's no doubt about it, nothing like a nice bluing job on a steel gun, you know. Because most of the firearms like this, they got kind of, what would you call it, a blacking job on them. They've got it's not a pretty bluing, it's more durable, the finish is, and all that. But, yeah, they're made for practicality, and so you don't have to get some oil out and wipe them down after use, right? The old AK, my gosh, the history of these things. And they, like most ingenious designs, they've not really changed much, have they? You know, a little tweaking here and there, a couple of different calibers and all that. So I really like this one. You know, if I ever got another Class 3 firearm, I've always been tempted on an AK. I don't know why. I had the Uzi for 10 years. You've been around, you know. It was a select fire. It's hard to believe how naive, stupid, ignorant we were. I don't know, not ignorant, just early 80s, you know. I bought that thing, went to a shop in Nashville, had it over on Donaldson Pike, had it converted. I figured about $1,200 in that thing total, you know, with buying a short barrel, the 10-inch barrel for it, the new bolt, having it converted, paying to have it converted. What I paid for the gun initially, $500 or something. That was in 83 or 4 during that time span. And, you know, and I was working, I was in sales and I wasn't teaching in the 80s. So I was making some decent money and getting bonuses and things. And, you know, I was able to buy computers when I wanted to, and buy some guns. I could have bought a select fire, AK, AR, you know, anything for pocket change as compared to with what they are now. You know, you just don't know what you don't know, do you? And I don't know that I was even that savvy, you know, those pre-internet days as to what was coming on, what was going on. And, you know, even though I could have put some money together and bought some things like that, maybe I just didn't do it. I had other interests, you know, big revolvers, those sorts of things. Oh, well, you live and learn, and sometimes you learn too late, right? So what are we going to talk about today? I got several things. I'll try not to go maybe as long as I did last week. You know, it's funny. I talk too long, and whatever two means, T-O-O. I know what it means. I taught that. T-O versus T-O-O versus T-W-O and all that. You know, you really don't know when you do this kind of thing. Do you get fewer views? Do you have fewer subscribers because of something you do? You talk too much, or you not talk enough, or you spend too, you just don't know, because you hear compliments and insults, as I've said before, on everything you do, and it's hard to weed it out, you know. And then you say, well, I'm just doing what seems right, what I feel good doing, and you know, a lot of people seem to think it's fine, and so what do I change, you know? So, man, we're always tweaking. I don't want to annoy people too much. Now, on the Sunday shoot-around, I don't care. Well, I do, but, you know, it's different. It's more of a vlog, shooting a vlog, and where I bring out a firearm. And I haven't shot this in a long while. And, you know, I was sitting around thinking what I hadn't shot, what I want to shoot, because around the videos, occasionally, well, at least once a week now, especially with Sundays, I just got something. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be something we're about to do a video on, a test gun, or, well, we don't really test guns, but a firearm we got from buds. We're going to do a video. It could be that. It just could be anything. A lever gun I haven't shot, like last week. I hadn't shot the STP for a while and got it out. So it's great because you are forcing me to shoot some things just strictly for fun. Now, any shooting is fun. Doing videos is fun. You know, you all know that. But just truly bringing something out, taking some shots, you know, and then turning on the camera and taking some more shots and sharing it with you. It's nice. It really does. It forces me to play some, you know, outside the video. So I enjoy it. But anyway, that's what I brought out today. I'm gonna shoot some more. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about, I don't know, the Carcano video a little bit, maybe. Jesus, what else? What did I have? A couple of things that I might talk about. The AK, the Twitter. Yeah, a little bit. And I don't even use it. I'm on there, but really don't use it. TV series been watching, and you know, it's all Talon Grips. I want to thank them. And also on the last week I talked about, well, yeah, it was last week I talked about teaching. Didn't have left a lot of gaps there. You know, one thing I didn't mention was when I was talking about novels that I taught the last period of time, you know, the Kill the Mockingbird, different things, was Shane. I didn't even talk about Shane, of course. Here I am, a gunman, right? Because that was how, many of you know this story. There's an ant crawling on the camera. Get away, ant. He's a troll. that's kind of how we got going when I was teaching Shane. I didn't get to teach that because somebody else was teaching it, that novel, and then left, retired. It was this lady, she loved that novel and had a lot of cowboy in her, still friends with her, and she retired, and so I grabbed that novel. I was able to teach it, and when she left, and that was probably for about 7 years or something. I taught it, and we read that together. Not an easy novel. It's not a throwaway paperback, cowboy adventure. It's really good. I recommend you read it sometime. It's much deeper, than the movie, of course, and it's a great movie. It's also a little R-rated, more so than the movie. But anyway, I was teaching that, and I don't know what year. What that would have been, about 2007, I guess. And well, even the years before that. But I did a video a couple different years, like my years at the shooting bench, pre-Hick AK47 days, just showing the Western guns and shooting them, a lever gun, the Colt single action, and a shotgun, coach gun. And then I took that video to the classroom and showed the shooting of those real firearms like were used in the novel, to give them an idea of what those guns are like and how they work and how they sound and look, firing real bullets, And we were high tech again. I put it on the wall, like anything in the computer I could put on the wall back then. I know that's not a big deal now, but you go back 15 years ago, and that was really high tech. So anyway, I sent a copy of it. It was on CD to John, who was in college at the time, and he had been prowling around YouTube and complaining about not much gun stuff on there that was anything other than just I got a 44 Magnum, boom, 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 or something like that. There was some good stuff we didn't know about, really. Nut Fancy, I think, was doing some stuff then, and a couple of others, but I wasn't aware. I don't think he was either, maybe. But he said, you ought to put that on YouTube or something like that on YouTube, do some of that stuff. And so that's how we got started. That's why we got started. Because up to then, it was mostly just stupid stuff that you'd see on YouTube. It was really his place to go put something dumb, really, if you remember those days, if you're old enough. And so I put a lot of dumb stuff up then, didn't I? but at least attempting to give some information about the firearms and shoot them. So that's how we got started, from the novel Shane, more or less. So Shane's always been a special movie to me and novel, and it's also a major factor in the fact that I'm even standing here talking to you in the woods like a fool and doing this, right? So, just thought I'd throw that in. And that was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed teaching Shane because I love cowboys, of course. I love that. And Shane is a cowboy novel, kind of the story. I highly recommend you read the book and watch the movie if you don't have any experience with it. But I try to indoctrinate. I was just like some of these college professors trying to indoctrinate the youngsters, But I really did. I want to indoctrinate them to a certain extent. And every year I would ask, before we'd read Shane, even talk about it, I'll just ask in class some questions. How many of these were like 13-year-olds? How many of y'all know who John Wayne is? And I kid you not, in some classes there would be nobody. And there'd be a couple in some classes of like 20 kids. And not that your intellectual development and measurement should be really based on whether or not you know John Wayne, and so, but to give me an idea, they didn't watch Westerns, they didn't watch Westerns. So much they didn't know, so much of that culture, they're just not a part of them. Their parents didn't watch Westerns, if they didn't know who John Wayne is, probably. Or at least they didn't watch them with their parents. So that's like hard to imagine, being 13 and maybe never have seen a Western TV series or movie. And here I am, we're about to teach a Western kind of novel and all that sort of thing. And so I would try to indoctrinate them a little bit. And that was always fun, the cowboy stuff. Because cowboy stuff always is a little more palatable to people who are not sure about guns and things, you know what I'm talking about. A lever gun is not as threatening as something evil, like this. And same with a peacemaker. It's a peacemaker. And so we would. One thing I did as extra credit, quote unquote, was I had this form I put together, and I would. At one of the assignments during the time they had like a month to do, or weeks, whatever. Some point, sit down with either your parents or your grandparents, somebody in your family, or an uncle, or generally it's designed to be for your family, but it could be somebody else, and watch a Western with them. And write down the name of the Western. And I said, I didn't want to make it so tedious they wouldn't want to do it, but I just write the name of the Western, and then just what did I have on there? What you thought of it. What was the best part? How did it end or something? Just some basic stuff, so they wouldn't. Oh no! And I've got to answer 99 questions about it. I wanted them to enjoy the Western, but just enough in terms of questions, to ensure they did it. And and it turned out to be a really cool assignment. I did it every year because so many of the parents would tell me, and the grandparents when I see them, how they liked that. They thought that was so cool. They watched whether it was Silverado or whatever it was. Some of them they watched. I thought, oh really? Okay. What was it? Blazing Saddles. Some of them. Some of the parents, wanted to even watch it. Was okay. I told them, no, Blazing Saddles doesn't count. And it needs to be, PG rated. You got to check with your parents. They've got to approve the movie and that sort of thing. Because no risque. They're 13. I didn't want to get anybody in trouble. But it turned out to be really good, really, really neat. And so many of those kids, it was so rewarding because so many of them enjoyed that movie. And they wrote a lot more than they had to about the movie, and they would want to talk about it. And they wanted to, have you seen this? Have you seen Tombstone? Mr. So-and-so, have you seen that? Isn't that cool? A lot of them just really got into it. It was just a new thing. And then after we read Shame, we'd watch the movie in class. That was always a hoot. But anyway, that was some stuff I didn't tell you last week. There's probably a lot of stuff I haven't told you. There might be some I'll never tell you, right? So this is my cowboy gun right here. What should I shoot? I normally don't bring 2 liters over here for a Sunday shoot around, but I had 1 or 2 over here, and I thought I'm going to shoot those things. Down here. Down here. Bowling pin. Killed me a propane tank. I think I need to put one on the gong. It's AR-500. Might not hurt it. Oh yeah, those old red plates. Now I could I'll just put it on safe and lay it down like that, facing down, and be all right. I typically like to unload them, so I'm not going to be messing with them. But yeah, the OAK is cool, just as cool in so many ways as that great Colt Peacemaker or that lever gun. There's, this one of the themes around here is trying to get people to branch out. Don't be a mall ninja exclusively. A lot of us start out as mall ninjas in a way, don't we? And I'm being honest with you. I remember when I was fascinated. How old was I? Probably 12, 13. And we'd go into these shops and they'd have throwing stars and that kind of nunchucks or whatever. I used to be fascinated with that stuff too. I really, really was. I don't know exactly what mall ninja means, but when I use it, I hear it. I think of like real novices and amateurs who are just enamored with that kind of stuff and nothing but black rifles and all that stuff. Want to be Mr. Tactical, when they're 12 or 15, and they're kind of never grow out of that stage. I guess I don't know, because I think that's kind of the progression that most of us shooters, I don't know about most, but a lot of us shooters move through. We're fascinated with that stuff, depending on what TV you've watched and what games you play, I guess. But I probably watched more westerns than anything. I watched army shows and things too, but I don't know. I don't know. It just depends on your background. But a lot of people kind of go through that progression, and they might come up liking nothing but Western types of firearms that the cowboys carried or something, and then it's just the opposite, and gradually find an interest in things like this or ARs, polymer pistols, later on, and then some people never do. I mean, some people never get away from the black rifles, the black guns. They never get away from that. They couldn't tell you what a Browning high power is, couldn't care less. They couldn't tell you what a Colt single action arm feels like to shoot, how it operates, and they're 50 years old. Couldn't care less. They're just strictly interested in tactical stuff, And then you got the other side of the people they couldn't tell you anything about a firearm unless it's a lever action or a single action or a double action revolver, a double barrel shotgun, a skeet gun. They don't care anything about these sorts of rifles, never will. It's just the way it is. But I like to encourage people to branch out. You're missing out on the universe is out there. Yeah, it really is. It's not like vehicles. It's expensive, but it's not as expensive. I might like to have a Lamborghini. That'd be cool. But look at the cost of it, just to have one to drive for a little while, or a pickup truck. And then I think I'd like one of the big dually pickup trucks. That'd be cool too. And maybe I'd like a sedan, and then this crossover. Well, before that, you have $1 million just in cars, So that's harder to do. Whereas with firearms, as expensive as they can be, think about what you've got in firearms and look at your collection. If you're old enough to have much of a collection, you may have, say, 10 firearms. Maybe they're all polymer pistols. Maybe they're all AR-15s. Well, if you could wave a magic wand, of course you could do some trading, but selling and buying or trading, well, maybe you end up with 3 or 4 ARs, an AK, and a couple of polymer pistols, and then that other 4 or 5 those slots, you might have, instead of just more black guns, maybe you have a Colt or a single action. That'd be a Colt. You got a cool lever gun, got a neat double barrel shotgun. I don't know. They're all fun. Just like redheads, blondes, and brunettes. Hugh Hefner had it right? He had the right idea. I didn't say that. Oh man. Oh gosh. Speaking of movies and things, I rewatched Spielberg's The Pacific, I guess is the title of it. World War II. I've seen Band of Brothers. I'm going to watch that. I ain't seen that for a long time. I was going to do the Pacific I've just seen this Pacific once, and I wanted to watch it again. I didn't enjoy it as much as I did Band of Brothers, and the first time through when it came out, and so I watched that again this week, and brutal, man. I'll tell you, as I've said many times, these firearms are so much fun to enjoy and shoot. They're so durable. And that's one of the advantages of like military designed weapons that were kind of on that same design, even though not full auto, is they're just interesting, and they're made well. And obviously, that's what we do. If our people are going to war with them, right, or might go to war with them. But boy, I tell you, I'm so I so much appreciate those people that. Those guys in the Pacific on those islands, and the horrors of war. Every time you see something that's pretty realistic, it just is another reminder of how horrible it is, how difficult it is. It's just beyond definition. It really is, and how could we wonder? Why would we wonder why somebody might have a difficulty adjusting psychologically when they come back to this world? So it's just amazing. Just the enormity of it is overwhelming. Because those movies, that's the thing Hanks and Spielberg are able to do with Saving Private Ryan, The Pacific, and Band of Brothers. You from what I understand, people that were there and everything that comment on those kind of things are really stricken by the realism, how real they are. And it's pretty scary if you're old enough to watch those things, based on the ratings and things. You know, it's even though it's can be a little bit unnerving, you know, maybe even disturbing, you know. Once you're old enough, whatever that is, you probably should catch some pieces of it, just as a reminder of what war is like or can be like, actual battle. So we don't, as I've said before, we don't glorify it, you know, as something fun to do, something cool to do, right? So anyway, just a reminder of that. And again, you know, people, you know, have patience with people you see around the channel. You know, we turned you know, 5 million subscribers recently, and you know, what are we now? Another 90,000. You know, beyond that. So you know, that's just been a couple of weeks, and you know, there's another close to 100,000 people, you know, prowling around watching videos and things. So, and they're new, like within a couple of weeks. So you're always going to see people who seem to not know anything, you know, because they're new. They've only seen one video, or the video where you see their dumb comment, you would think, is the first video they've seen, and you know, all that sort of thing. So just always be aware, maybe help them out a little bit. And I know a lot of them are young, and a lot of them are not young. Just because someone is obviously a game player, comes from the games, that doesn't mean they're 13, does it? Many of you play games, you know. Lots of you, folks that are in the military, you play games, you know, video games, you know, and that's just the new world. And people in my age group sometimes don't quite understand it or get it. I get it a little bit. I've always been around kids, you know, around young people. I don't play really myself, other than just a little bit occasionally with John, and he doesn't play all that much. But so I kind of understand the appeal, but I don't play myself really. So I'm sort of an old fuddy-duddy in that regard myself. But at least I understand that most of the world does play the games. Okay, so be nice, be nice. What else were they going to talk about? Hope you're surviving the bug. And you know, that all of your friends and all your relatives have not passed away from it. Okay, that's a bad joke, I guess, but I mean, really, I'm still having a hard time finding people that know somebody that's in the hospital. But hopefully, we're really moving down, which apparently we are. If you're under like 50 years old or 60, you know, chances are really, really slim that you're in desperate danger, you know, dying from this. So, but if you've got mitigating, you've got some kind of issue, diabetes, overweight, you're an old guy, unlike me, I'm a young guy, you know, just be careful. What else? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was going to mention about the Carcano video. Hope you enjoyed that. It was kind of fun to have that rifle, even though it was a little difficult to shoot with that scope. But you know, it was right on with the metal sight. I mean, I could shoot it all day and hit stuff. It was fine. But I got to talking too much in that video. It's just what I do, right? Yeah. So, but anyway, hopefully I didn't ruin the video. I wanted to kind of cover and talk a little bit about the Kennedy thing, and of course the rifle, you know, too, and I carried away. But you know, that's the thing with the videos we do, the way we do them, where we don't edit, we don't do little segments. You know, for example, in this one, I could have a segment where I introduce the video and I take a few shots and then cut the camera, and then I think to myself, I said something stupid, right? Why did I say that? You know, and then why did I just shoot 3 times or something? Let's redo that segment, and then we redo it really quick. Then we do another segment 2. You know, if you're doing videos where you're doing them in segments like that, and y'all know this, like I'm telling you something, it's just a totally different experience. Here I'm trying to defend myself, I guess, but the way our videos come out is really however they come out. If I'm in a weird mood, or maybe I'm too talkative, or whatever. It's just what prints. You know, we don't redo these videos. Just like this one, whatever I say is whatever I say. And I have a pretty good filter. I'm not going to say anything too ridiculous, I don't think. But I guess what I'm saying is, it's you take the good and the bad, you know, when you do things like this. It's just it, you know. And you know, if I'm in a weird mood, or I talk too much, or talk too much about the pronunciation of the word carcano, a couple of people said, bye-bye Aunt. You know, that's just it. That's just what gets printed. And so you're all aware of that. You're smart, but just it might not be something you think about too much, because you go to other people's videos, TV or whatever it is, and things are just slicker. Let's face it, they're slicker, and it's just not the same. So that's why there's some variety in the videos, even in my approach. Maybe, I don't know. You know, you're also getting a window into how I was feeling that day to some extent. You know, whether I was exceptionally stupid that day, or more tongue twisted than normally, or whatever it might be, or my collar's messed up, or my shirt. Occasionally I'll look at a video and I'll be going back for some reason, and I tell you, we rarely even screen them now. You know, as far as just look at the video before we post it, the whole thing, we should. But because I mean, we know it's just a reality show. It's kind of whatever happens, and unless I know, oh, you know what, I shouldn't have said that. I got into this discussion about something, I shouldn't have done it. I might go back and look at that if it's like something horrible, you know, which it never really is. So anyway, just what you see is what you get. It's kind of like with the sound. You know, we could change a lot of things, do things differently, and have a different lapel mic and all that kind of thing. But it's a trade-off, as I've said before. You know, one thing that people are always complimenting us on is the realism of the firearms, the sounds of not only the bolt of gunfire and all that sort of thing, and the birds chirping and the crows and whatever's in the environment. And you do realize you lose that. You lose a lot of that realism with a better mic system. We're not totally stupid. I could buy one with pocket change today, but you know, we just choose not to yet. We kind of like not to do that unless we have to. We might do it sometime, but I mean, it's a trade-off. There's a loss with every gain. Write that down. Shakespeare said that, I think. Oh, what else? My gosh, what am I going to talk about? Yeah, regarding the bug, still, media just amazes me. Well, they don't really amaze me. They are what they are. But even channels you kind of trust, you know, I hear this, just riding around on the radio, you'll hear a blurb of news on the hour or something about this side, the rates this, but cases in Indianapolis are up 2% or something, kind of thing like that. But, and of course they say it very dramatically, yet cases are up 2% or something, you know, whatever they might say. Or yet in Nashville, there were 20 new cases or 12 new cases. You know, don't they think we're smarter than that? Of course there's more cases. They're testing. I just drove by this morning, you know, free tests, you know, from whatever, noon to something, you know, my county. I can get a test anytime I want. It's easy. You get it tested now. People are getting tested. So what they should be saying, I think, is more cases have been identified today. You know, 12 new cases were identified. Duh. You know, I mean, I was likening it to the flu, and say in the middle of the winter, how many cases of flu do we have in Nashville? It's January, let's say, or it's December. Well, I don't know. Maybe the people that came to the hospital, it was so bad, or they went to their doctor, if they tracked that, there's this many cases. Well, if we went out and we started testing as many people as we could, beat the bushes in every county around Nashville, guess what? There's going to be more flu. There's going to be people that are going to test positive for the flu, even though they don't feel bad, you know. I don't know, anything to be dramatic. I mean, that's it. That's the name of the game. If you want attention, advertisers, clicks, whatever it might be, you gotta be dramatic. And I just have not learned that lesson, or we would have 20 million subscribers, right? Got to be dramatic and go for it. That's, I mean, it's just not news unless there's drama anymore. It's just funny. And again, as I've talked about before, I also heard this week, I made a mental note. I didn't hear this. I was just, sometimes I make a mistake. I'll scroll my phone at I guess Google News or whatever, and I'll just see what the headlines are. Y'all probably go to that sometimes. And you can just scroll down. Okay, here's something. Elon Musk just said something. The president said something. Going to announce something. Jessica Simpson something. The Dems abandoned something. Mike Tyson. Just whatever they deem as newsworthy. I was doing that this week one day, and one of the items said, the president faces backlash after comment or something. Okay, that was one of the news items. And then another one was, it said the president is ripped over some comment. And the other one said, so-and-so faces backlash for something. And I thought, you could just fill in the blank. So much of the news now, that's what it is. I mean, look at it. Notice the headlines and notice what people even say. If you turn on, whether it's, again, MSNBC or Fox or any of the channels, if you watch for 5 minutes, you'll hear that phrase. You'll hear, so-and-so is facing backlash, or there's outrage about what somebody said or what somebody did, outrage on Twitter, or on Facebook or somewhere. So that's the news. There's outrage on Twitter. Oh man, hold the phones, stop the trains. Somebody on Twitter is outraged, okay? Somebody is ripped for something they said. Wow, are you kidding me? And that is news. So if I needed another career in addition to all the careers I've had, I think I would just be a news person. I don't know what it pays. It shouldn't pay much at all, because you know how I could get my news. I just go through, I guess on Twitter or wherever people comment the most, and just find something that some celebrity has said, and then copy and paste it, and then dig around, or just look at who's replied to them, or however. I don't use Twitter much, but at all. But you go around and look for reactions to it. Here's my news item. I just pick somebody. I don't know who. Peyton Manning. Pick anybody, a sports person, LeBron James or whoever. I just pick a person and something they have said, and then go find someone who's reacted badly to it, didn't like it. Oh, okay. There's my news item. Yep. Joe Jones is outraged by something LeBron James said, and that's my article. And then I go through and write about all this. It takes me, of course, have you noticed now, I don't know what they're teaching in journalism school, but it takes at least 4 paragraphs to get down to what it's actually about. And so I would eventually, write about what LeBron James said, and then I would go down the reaction, maybe a couple of celebrities or other people that people know. Of course, that makes it a news item, and how they reacted to it and all that kind of thing. Meanwhile, whatever LeBron James said, 99.9% of people who heard him or saw what he said thought it made sense. But if you can find the rest of those people, and guess what? They're not hard to find. They're on Twitter. They're on Facebook. They're on all these social media sites. So it's easy to find somebody who didn't like what he said. So there's my news item. Okay? And I can make a big deal out of it. So it's just funny. It's just funny. In a way it's funny, in a way it's sad that that's where we are in the world now, isn't it? Backlash. I love it. Faces backlash. I mean, I ought to make a list of all those. You need to make a list yourself. So-and-so faced backlash over a comment, or is ripped, or all the various ways. You see those phrases over and over and over again, right? AK47 faces backlash over comment in Sunday shoot-around, number 22. That's what it would be if I was a celebrity, real celebrity, right? Well, I mean, you may see that on somewhere, but not in anywhere where anybody's going to see it other than us nutty gun people, I guess. But that's how you get news. That's how you get attention. You know, you find something a celebrity has said or done, and that's how you get attention. You know, it's just funny because my point is there's always somebody who is going to be outraged, right? Or I mean, it's fake outrage usually, but there's always somebody who's going to react negatively or be outraged about something. It's just anybody does or says. So you got built-in news, you know, except it's not really news. That's sad, right? So anyway, what else? Guns we've been shooting. I don't know, man. Muzzle loaders. I think I've talked about that. I had out the infield, and that's cool. I talked about that last week. I lose track sometimes of what I've talked about to get you outraged or get people outraged, but guess not. So we did that this week. I lose track. Too much shooting, yeah. But a person I found on, and I mentioned this in video, Plowboy's Ghost. Some of you who are into muzzleloading might have seen him make infield cartridges. He's got a video making an infield cartridge. I'm talking about muzzleloader, a proper infield cartridge, and paper and lube and the bullet, the Pritchett bullet, and all that. And I contacted him a couple of years ago and had him. Well, I didn't have him do anything. I asked him if he would make me some, and I'd be happy to pay whatever it costs, because you can't find anybody that makes actual paper bullets for Civil War rifles hardly. And they did. I've had them around for a long time. He sent me some. I paid him, and been meaning to do some videos with it, because the infield paper bullet, it's a paper patch bullet actually too, paper cartridge, is different from like the ones that generally the the North used, okay, or the ones for the Springfield muskets. Now you could use those, I guess, in the infields, because I have, or either way, but I think the South bought a lot of those from Britain and the North too, perhaps, because they use some of the infields as well. But anyway, it's kind of neat. That was fun. It was fun to do that. But anyway, shooting muzzle loaders, and that's what I enjoy about what I do. One of the things is I may be shooting this one day, and the next day a muzzle loader, speaking of that, and then the next day a nice 44 Magnum revolver, and just enjoying all of them, right? Getting gunpowder on my hands. Do I have any ammo left? Yeah, I do. All right. Let's shoot something. You want to? The AK 7.62 by 39, if you didn't know. Okay. I put it back on safe, lay it down there again. Oh man, that is a nice one. If you're into AKs and you're looking for an arsenal like that, I can vouch for it, as I've done before. I've bragged on this one every time I bring it out, I guess. It's got the folding stock. It's a quality folding stock, and then it's I guess an NATO length. But it says all of those advantages. Some AKs are really short for me, really short. And the trigger is really nice on this thing. So it's just a nice rifle. It is, no doubt about it. I've told you before that I take the easy route. I took the easy route on AKs, because AKs, I don't know, it's not like ARs. Most ARs are fine. It's just that you could pay a little more and ensure they're going to be fine, and maybe or get some other bells and whistles and that kind of thing. But AKs, they're probably all fine too, but it's a little more of a jungle, shopping for AKs, right? I kind of defer those questions. I am definitely not an expert. I took the easy road. When I decided I wanted a nice AK, I went ahead and got an Arsenal. I had some others before that, the Wasser and some things, but I'm going to get an Arsenal. That kind of solves all the problems, okay? I just went ahead and spent the money. It cost twice as much as most other AKs, but it solved the problem. I solved it the easy way. I threw money at it, right? So sound like a government bureaucrat, but I knew that would solve that problem for me. And so it's a nice one, no doubt about it. And I use a Circle 10 mags. You know, they just work. And I like the classic, the 7.62 by 39. You know, in an AK. I know the other round is good, but it's close enough to a 5.56. You know, that I just sort of like my AKs in the 30 caliber, and ARs in the smaller bullet, smaller, speedier bullet. You know, so anyway. I could probably think of something else to bore you with, but who knows, you know, what it would be, you know. So maybe there's something else I've shot. Let's see, let me think. What did I shoot this week? Oh man, we shot something that, well, I know. We shot the Shield, M&P Shield, and the 45 is the Performance Center version. So that's a little different. I've already sent that back, or I'd show it to you today. You've seen the 45 and the Shield. You've seen a Shield. The Shield's the most, well, I don't know if it's the most popular, but it's one of the most popular pistols out there, isn't it? And they tend to work. Not a lot of negative to say about them, other than the grip is way too thin for my preferences. But, yeah, that's fixable. You know, I've got a Shield, and I like it fine. It's just interesting that even on the 45, it's the same grip, I guess. The grip it feels like it's about that narrow when I grab it. It's just really weird. It's not so much small front to back, rear, I guess. It's just this extremely narrow. I remember at one point I had taped mine up, Frankensteined it to where it felt pretty good, and I would do that if I was going to carry it. But that 45 is pretty neat. No malfunctions. And you'll be seeing that. Nice firearm. So what else could I talk about? Oh man, one last thing maybe. So what is it you want to hear? Well, I won't make up anything, because I'm always keeping you all so long. Maybe I'll play a little bit more of the Steve Lee singing. How's that? And no, I won't do that this time. But we do have, I hope YouTube doesn't go crazy. I think earlier on when I would use that, I think I had some issue. I had to make it clear that we are listed as co-writers on that, even though Steve Lee did most of it. We're on there as co-writers, even on the CD, I think, and everything. So we have the rights to that song. You know, you be careful when you're messing with music, right? Other people's music, and which is good. You know, there's a lot of people who have no ethics and they just steal things. You know, that's been an issue for a long time. Was it Napster? Was programs back in the day? You know, stealing music and different things just because we can. Like back in the day, you know, people wouldn't break into the distributor, the publishing house, and Jimmy opened the door and steal albums, right, or tapes, you know, with a mask on, and risk being arrested for breaking and entering. But they click on their computer and steal intellectual property without thinking about it, you know, just because it's easier to do, you know, and doable. And that's changed the entire industry, hasn't it? The intellectual, or the music industry especially, is weird. I think in the past and back in the day, if like 30, 40 years ago, if you're a musician, an artist, and you made most of your money through album sales, record sales, CD sales, whatever, right? And you did the concerts, maybe you're wrong in this, but you did the concerts to kind of promote that as much as anything. They make some money too doing a concert, but it was to promote the other stuff, you know. But I think that's kind of flip-flopped. I've heard a few discussions in that area where now the concerts are the big thing and the moneymaker, and that's why a lot of the old dudes have come back and doing concerts, because you know, people are getting their music for free essentially. They're not paying as much because it's so accessible and all that. So, but anyway, that's the way the world goes around. That's as John Prine said, you're up one day, the next you're down. I still miss John Prine, although I've been listening to his music maybe more than ever. It's funny how when somebody passes away, it just changes things. It's weird. We are weird as humans, aren't we? Well, I'm not really human, but I'm weird too. How it brings to our attention someone you hadn't been paying as much attention to recently, and once they're gone, oh my gosh, it hits you so hard. It's weird, even though maybe you hadn't listened to their song for 6 months or something. And so I've been going back through and catching some of John Prine's music. I found some I hadn't heard, and different things. That is one of the cool things about YouTube. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube. Do you know that? It really is. Because I've been listening to more music on there. I get, and someone will pop up, an old Dylan song or whatever it might be. And so I'm having things recommended or things pop up on my phone usually, like an interview with Bob Dylan, or different things like that, or a collaboration with Dylan and 4 or 5 other superstars, and there's just something, Austin City Limits or something. There's a Dylan, Willie Nelson doing Poncho and Lefty. It's just really cool from the '90s, I think. Willie's so funny, great voice, great singer, and he and Bob Dylan are singing Poncho and Lefty, and it's so funny because I'd never seen that before. And I think a lot of these things are filmed, but they may never have aired like on TV. I don't know. They were just, because of YouTube, probably a lot of this stuff gets dragged out. It was filmed, but it was maybe, I don't know, shown locally, or it's in the archives or something. It wasn't anywhere where anybody would have seen it maybe in the '90s very much in a widespread way. And it's so funny because they're 2 of my favorite singers, Dylan and Willie Nelson. And so Willie starts out singing it, and it just master performer in voice and everything. And there's Dylan there, man. He's like, I don't know, he's 50 years old or whatever. And he's got sunglasses on, and he looks like Bob Dylan. His usual awkward self, it's so funny. It's like Willie pulled out to contrast them, Dylan's an icon. He's a legend, I love him, but so I can talk about him. But I told John, it's like Willie's so smooth, and got the cowboy hat, and he's so smooth singing his part. And then it's Dylan's turn, and Dylan comes to the mic, and he's like someone that Willie pulled out of the audience to sing this, some high school senior who is awkward, and can't sing very well. It's so funny. But he does sing like Dylan. I never had a problem with Dylan's voice. I think as he got older, sometimes I didn't enjoy his voice as much. Really older, but I loved it. The early Dylan stuff, man, the first 20 years, people complained about his voice. Oh, man, said, Dylan can't sing, Dylan can't sing. Hey, look, Dylan earned the right to sing. With his writing, he's a poet, and his voice is just fine. He's singing like a poet ought to sing. He's fine. But still, he's Dylan. He's not as smooth as a real singer, But anyway, the stuff like that, I just really enjoyed a lot of things from the Austin City Limits, or things I just never had seen before. Gosh, there was something I pulled up the other day. I sent it to John. It was just Dylan, and oh gosh, I'm losing his name. Well, George Harrison showed up on it, and 4 or 5 just icons. Who is it? The blonde-haired guy, I'm drawing a blank on his name, that died a couple of years ago. I liked him too. I can't think of his name. I'm talking about. He was California. Anyway, just stuff like that though is great to run up on. And that YouTube, it's a wonderful thing. That internet, it's a wonderful thing. So anyway, here I am rambling. See, you got to watch me, because it just depends on my mood. I'm over here in the woods, and nobody shut me up, and just talk all day. So I'm gonna let you go, and I want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart, from the top of my heart, from the sides of my heart. Okay, for your support, because I get to do this, have gotten to do this for a long time, and we have good support. We you know, it works out well because you guys come and watch. You come and watch. Y'all always thanking me, you know, and run into you and, you know, communicate with you. I thank you, and I know you're sincere, and so am I. So am I, because I get to make a good living shooting. You know, how's that? How's that for life? Yeah, make a living shooting, and not only that, but shooting a lot of different firearms. Okay, and then have support of people like ButtsGunShop.com to get almost any modern firearm that we want as they restock. Right, everybody's out of stock on a lot of things now, and ammunition, food, you know, from Federal and that, and then support from people, you know, like Talon Grips and SDI, the Sonoran Desert Institute, Battle stuff. You know, it's just, you know, it's sincere praise for you guys and for the people that support us. So we appreciate your support. Hope you'll come back. Should I promise not to talk so long? You know I would, but it's one of those promises I have a hard time keeping, right? So enjoy your Sunday. Don't drink too much coffee. And we'll see you on the tube this week. So should I shoot some more? You know what, I couldn't. Nah, I won't do that. I'll play some more next week, okay? Some of the Steve Lee song. And again, that's on, I was going to say if you like it, but it is on the channel. And I think it's just called the Hickok 45 song. But, you know, search for that and you'll find it. Okay, we're sitting on the front porch. When we finally get it together, we come out on the porch and you can see the range in the background. And his daughter, and Rachel, and he sitting there picking it and singing it. And John and I are filming. John's actually playing some electric guitar in parts. I just pulled a piece of it out. I've got about 3 different pieces. I'll maybe, you know, move around and play different pieces of it. But anyway, they're great musicians. I enjoy their singing. Good stuff. So, and also, if you haven't seen or listened to the song "I Like Guns," you need to find that. Okay, go to his channel, and it's the most viewed by far. It's a universally known song, video amongst shooters. It just really is. I guess it dawned on me. It's been really several years since it was big. So many of you might not have heard it yet, called "I Like Guns" by Steve Lee. It's a great song. You'll like it. So anyway, I'm going to let y'all go. Yeah, I'm going to shoot a little bit more if that's okay. It's okay if I shoot after you leave. I thought it'd be all right. So we'll see you later, and I've enjoyed you being here. Life is good.